What's good, man? Got text conversations with disturbing backstories. About to see what's up. See what's going on.
On March 4th, 2022, these were the texts 21-year-old
Okay, so that was last year. Not too long ago at all.
college student Gavin received after getting home from a night out with friends. On March 4th, 2022, these were the texts 21-year-old college student Gavin received after getting home from a night out with friends. Hey, is this Gavin? Yes, who's this? It's Alex. Where you at? Send your location. I'm at home. What happened?
Off bat, I don't know. Something seemed fishy. Like I got a feeling somebody got got Alex's phone or stole his phone or something. Now they trying to rob him.
To you.
Trying to act
What
like
number is
Alex.
this? I'm
Something.
using my friend's phone. We're stranded at the bar. Can you call us an Uber to your house? What? Why don't you just do it?
Yeah, son.
Dude,
That
my
ain't
app
that
is
ain't Alex you talking to. That's somebody
working.
else.
Just figure it out. I don't even know what that means. Just send your address. Gavin was out with his friends Alex and Omar, and they were last with each other at a bar in Dallas called Parliament. The trio was getting ready to wrap up the night, but Alex stayed behind when he saw other friends at the bar. So Gavin and Omar went home, and about an hour passed with no contact between the three. That was when Gavin received the text from the random number, and as you see, they claimed to be Alex using his friend's phone. Alex had lost his phone, and he was using his friend's phone, who Gavin apparently had never met before. He was asking Gavin to call him an Uber, since according to him, it wasn't working on his phone. Gavin refuses, basically noting how silly that sounds, and tells him to call his own. The conversation picks up here, where Alex agrees to apparently call his own Uber and asks for Gavin's address. Gavin's
Alex called his own Uber. Nah, man. Don't. Yeah, you should never did that. Cause whoever Alex so called, that's his man's or something like that. Like you don't know.
did that
Nah,
this was
he got your address.
around the time he was becoming slightly suspicious, but he still here, where Alex agrees to apparently call his own Uber and asks for Gavin's address. Gavin stated that this was around the time he was becoming slightly
Got his name
suspicious,
as
but he
Creep.
still gave his address, however, not without making a comment about how he should memorize his address by now. He says he cut him some slack due to the fact that he was drinking. Gavin asked him why he was using his friend's cell phone, to
You
which
see, you like, bro, you stupid. You should have called, dude. Just like you should have called him. You know he's supposed to like he would have knew your address, bro. Like you gotta go with your gut feeling. He already said it sounded like suspicious. Like you still just sent the address. Like
response that Alex lost his phone. He then lets them know that they're on their way, and when Gavin asks Alex if he knew his friend, he responds, nah, he's cool though.
see, look, nah, I ain't. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Don't like, don't know him, bro. It's a random dude in your house. You just trust him because your man's cool with him. Like,
Minutes later, the number sends a text that truly starts to make the conversation suspicious. Can we just come in through the front door when we get there? As if asking Gavin to leave the door unlocked. It was at this moment that he started to question everything about the interaction.
stupid. And you just gave out the address just like that. He gonna give out the address and he want to keep asking questions like,
First text being, hey, is this Gavin? To the asking Gavin to call them an Uber, to now the leaving the door unlocked. He tried to call the number, but it rang and went to voicemail. He then tried to text and call Alex's number repeatedly, but it would just keep going to voicemail, and the text would just say delivered. Gavin stopped answering this foreign number now, and called his friend Omar to ask him if he'd heard anything from Alex, to which Omar said he had not. After reading Omar all of the texts, Omar
you. That's what I'm saying. Why you doing all this after you sent the address, bro? You supposed to do this before you. But like, why before you sent the address? What he said? Why you use your friend phone, whatever. Boom. Now he calling Omar like, yo, you should have been did all that before you sent the address. Like that don't
something
make
was
sense.
off. They looked to call the bar Parliament, but there was no number listed online to call.
So I'm saying somebody took his phone, got robbed or something. They texted him acting like Alex.
Around this time, the number texted Gavin again, saying, "We're here, open the door." Gavin went to his door and looked through the peephole of the door. There was no one in immediate view, though, which maybe at first would have implied it was all a prank. But when
Nah,
there
ain't
was a
no
knock
prank. Somebody hiding. You open that door, you.
at the door, Gavin checked the peephole again. There was still no one on the other side. Reality of the situation was setting in now for Gavin, as this was no longer just texts on a screen. Someone was actually on the other side of his door. So he asks, "Who is this?" Straight to the point. They reply with simply, "LOL." Gavin asks again, "Who is this?" And they reply, "Open the door." So instead of answering again, Gavin calls the police. The knocking persists for a few minutes, in long intervals. Then it stops for good when the person or people on the other end realize Gavin was onto them. Gavin went on to DM one of Alex's friends who he was hanging out with after he and Omar left. And almost instantly, the friend DM'd him back explaining that he, Alex, and their other friend were
See,
jumped.
look, that's why I'm. Oh my god, that's oh my god. I know what I be talking about, bro. Alex, see, look, he done got his phone stole. He got jumped. Let me read it. Yo, Alex, that actually no dude. Me, Alex Scott were jumped outside walking home by these black dudes. They stole our shit. Alex lost his phone and Scott lost his wallet. The phones were in the hospital. Bro, that's exactly what I said, bro. I already knew off bat. Like, I'm like, man, somebody stole their phone acting like Alex. Gave up the address. You should. That's what I'm saying. You should have called them first. Like, you would have called them. You already got all your answers you needed. Dude would have probably wouldn't even have picked up. Goofy, man.
A big group of men in the street. They were all badly injured and went to the hospital. Alex's phone had been stolen, while one of his friend's wallets and phone was stolen. Alex not having a password on his phone meant all of his info and conversations were
That's
accessible.
what I was wondering too. Like, how are he getting his phone? Dude don't got no password. How you? I don't. That's crazy. How you don't got a password on your phone? I feel like only old people should not have no password on their phone. They might forget or something. They probably don't really know how to work it. But like, other than that, like, you should have a password on your phone, bro.
Alex's friend helped him in getting his phone locked. The police report that Gavin would get from the police who came to his house would later help Alex in getting his service provider to replace his stolen phone for him. The lack of a password on the phone meant the thieves were able to gain information, such as Alex and Gavin's conversation, where they would deduce that Gavin was home alone and an easy target. So if Gavin didn't catch on to the suspicious situation, he may have been opening his door to 2 or more people ready to attack him too and rob his house. The phone number that was being used to text Gavin turned out to be another stolen phone, therefore didn't help in finding the thief. The case regarding finding the thieves and assaulters remains open.
And they got your address.
I saw war. I saw bombing. I saw shooting.
These texts were received by an anonymous viewer from his dad's ex-girlfriend, who will be named Kathy for the purpose of this recounting. The viewer will be called Rob.
That's crazy.
These texts were received by an anonymous viewer from his dad's ex-girlfriend, who will be named Kathy for the purpose of this recounting.
Okay, his dad
The
ex.
viewer will be called Rob. The reason Rob's dad ended things with Kathy was because of her increasingly erratic and delusional tendencies. Her mental health was declining for unknown reasons.
Oh yeah, she crazy.
Rob's dad was dating Kathy for about half a year, and Rob's grandparents both passed away during that time. Rob's dad wasn't very open at first about how Kathy would start acting all paranoid about his son's dead grandparents, about how she believed they placed a curse on her. Rob's dad cut ties with Kathy when the delusions got too ridiculous. Rob was left in the dark for the longest time about Kathy's delusions, though, presumably out of embarrassment for having spent so much time with a supposed nut job. It wasn't long after his father's breakup with Kathy that Rob would receive texts from her himself. When her
Saying
attempts
what?
at reaching his father no longer worked, she clearly went to him instead.
Right.
Kathy texted Rob, "Hello, sweetie, I need your help." Rob replied, "With what? What's up?"
Whoa. Your father's parents put a curse on me. I need you to tell me the cemetery and plot number they were buried at. Bro, what type of... Hey, bro. I'm not even responding to that, like...
Parents put a curse on me. I need you to tell me the cemetery and plot
What you
number they were
on?
buried at. What do you mean they put a curse on you? I keep hearing their voices and having bad premonitions. I know it sounds crazy, but I need it to stop. Of course, being told by somebody that they were hearing your dead grandparents' voices would be a clear indication that the person is completely unhinged. So Rob went to show his dad the texts. His dad laughed and told him to just ignore her.
That's what I'm saying.
Rob says that instead of blocking her, though, he just let her continue to text him to see how crazy her text would get. She followed up later that night with, I need to exhume their grave. If you help me out, I will sleep with you. I know you've always checked me out whenever I was in your dad's house. Rob still didn't answer, and the next day, her text got a little more graphic. Rob showed these texts to his dad, and this time his dad was not amused. He called Kathy and screamed that he would be getting a restraining order if she didn't stop. When he hung up, she kept trying to call until he ended up blocking her number. That same night, while Rob's dad was asleep, Rob was still in his den watching a show when he heard the doorknob jiggling. He went to look through the glass atop the door and saw a cat.
Honestly, bro, you should have expected that though, bro. Like after all that, he said the dad was with her for half a year. He saw that she was acting crazy. Talking about she got a curse put on her. Now she texting Rob saying all that. Talk about she need the cemetery number. What? Should have knew she was gonna pop up. Like, come on now.
Fiddling with a knife in the key slot of the doorknob. She looked up at him and through the glass and started pleading with him to let her in. Rob called for his dad, and she started to scream no. When his dad came to the door, he screamed at her, and then went to call the cops. Kathy would scream back constant obscenities and threats, waving her knife in the air. She didn't leave, and police arrived to her still at the door with knife in hand. Based on her coming to their house with a weapon and not leaving when asked, she was arrested, and Rob's dad filed for a restraining order against her. Clearly, Kathy was more than just delusional and was starting to suffer from some sort of mental illness, such as paranoid disorder. This does not mean she wasn't a danger to others, though, as well as herself, evident by the knife she brought to their house and attempting to break into their house. Luckily, no one was hurt. An 18-year-old girl named Leanna, living in Hoboken, New Jersey, was at a local bar with her friend on a Saturday. That's when she got a notification that someone was trying to send her a message on Instagram. Usually people disregard these message requests, as they're messages from people you don't follow back on Instagram.
Right.
In a girl's shoes, those message requests are 9 times out of 10 men sending them flirtatious and often creepy messages. A lot of people don't ever check these messages, but sometimes when you get that notification that someone sent you a message request, curiosity gets the better of you.
Right.
In this case, Leanna opened the DM, and it was from some random account with no profile picture and no followers,
Whoa.
asking her if she was at McSwiggin's, a local bar in Hoboken. Right away, this is cause for alarm, of course, because this would be coming from someone who knew where she was at that exact moment.
Hold up, yeah, dude. Somebody stalking you. Good thing you checked it, cause now you know. Are you at what's the name right now? Yes, who this? You look good in that pink top. Are you 18 though? Shouldn't be in the bar. Somebody stalk. You don't even know. Like, do the pedo, man.
Someone intentionally using a fake Instagram account. Leanna follows with, yes, who's this? You look good in that pink top. Aren't you 18 though? Shouldn't be in a bar. I won't tell anyone though. Who is this? Just a guy who thinks you're really attractive. By this point, Leanna assumes it's a prank by someone she knows, and asks who's messing with her. The person replies it's neither of the names she just mentioned. Upon Leanna asking for a selfie, the person replies, can't. The girls look around the bar for anybody that could be alone, mainly an older, predatory-looking man. They saw a few men that appeared to be alone sitting at the bar. None of them were eyeing the girls, though. That's when she says, "Okay, bye, we're leaving."
Probably is somebody in here, but they not. They not gonna make it obvious by looking at you though. Somebody following you, stalking you, man. You gotta pay attention.
Moderately uncomfortable, the two girls leave the crowded bar and start walking. They go to another bar nearby, which is far less crowded than the first.
She think that's about to work, bro. Like somebody is literally stuck. Like you don't think they see you? They obviously know where you at. They see you walk out the door. They following you walking. Like come on now, it's obvious.
sit at the bar and order a few drinks, looking for young guys to talk to. When Leanna's phone vibrates again, and she gets another creepy
Watch.
message from the person.
Talking, he about to say, "Oh, you went to the next." Like, bro, he's watching you, bro. You acting like everything cool.
It said, "This is my favorite bar. Good
That's what I'm
choice."
saying. Like,
Leanna shows her friend the message, and then the two start looking around the bar for someone who could be sending the messages. And as if he was looking to be found out, Leanna saw a man sitting on the bar stool closest to the door, looking at her with a blank, wide-eyed expression. She says the best way she could describe his appearance was the killer from the movie The Lovely Bones,
whoa,
mainly because of his glasses, hair, and mustache. They made extended eye contact, to the point that it seemed the man was outwardly trying to be creepy, making it obvious who he was. The girls asked the bartender for help. They showed him the DM she was getting and then pointed at the man, who, in response to being pointed at, started looking around the room, in any direction but towards the girls.
yup, he
The
guilty.
bartender went over and told the guy in a loud, commanding voice to leave the bar without question, threatening to kick his ass if he didn't leave the girls alone. The man left the establishment, shortly feeling at least some sense of embarrassment, as anyone would. Leanna and her friends stayed at the bar for about half an hour.
Oh my god, bro. You know he about to be outside somewhere in the cut, looking, waiting.
To avoid running into the man outside. But Leanna says their mood to stay out was gone after that creepy encounter, and they just wanted to know who that was, or how he knew Leanna and where she was at that moment. When the girls left, they began walking home. They were on 2nd Street, a quiet one-way road, especially at the hour they were walking.
They too like, man. Should have called an Uber or something. You really gonna walk? You obviously know dude stalking you. Like,
Being mindful of their surroundings, making sure they weren't being followed.
you
But
being,
even when you think you're aware,
you listen. You wasn't aware you was just being followed at the bar the first time, so you obviously don't know.
surroundings, the unexpected can always happen. Leanna and her friend heard running footsteps from behind them out of the blue, and there was no time to react before the man grabbed Leanna with one arm around her face and mouth and the other around her waist. He picked her up as she tried to scream and fight, and of course her friend did the screaming for her, and continued to hit at the man. The commotion caught the attention of people from around the corner, and a few people came to the scene. The man released his grip from the girl and walked away quickly. Nobody went after the man. The girls called the police there on the spot. Leanna showed the police the DMs, and 2 witnesses backed up their story as well. A police report was made and a case was opened to find the man in question. Leanna would speak to detectives at her home a few days later, who gathered all the information she could give. They would later use the surveillance footage from the 2 bars, but the police have not yet been able to match the man seen in the footage to anybody. As a precaution, she still has her Instagram disabled to this day. If someone is dedicated enough, they can find someone through their Instagram by keeping track of what places they go to in their pictures, what school they go to, and who they associate with.
It's a fact. Now I think about it, like people be putting their whole
That's why
life
it
on
often
social
is a
media.
good
Like,
idea to keep your Instagram private.
you don't know who out there watching, like, at all.